Hey y'all, how's it going? I am Joy. That is Steve, back again with more of our NFL predictions versus season 3.
Yeah, well, hard to believe there we're only halfway towards the season there.
I know, yeah, it's already week 9, which is, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
Mhm.
It's already November, which, holiday seasons galore. That's great. But,
True.
so how did last week go for you?
It went pretty good there. I'm guessing it went the same for everyone. With me, it was a 10-5 week for me.
Ah, not bad. Okay. I went 9-6. I believe Buff won the week again. SDS did not have a very good week. Um, but I mean, to be fair, he did pick the Bears over the Cowboys, so
Mm-hmm.
to
Big
be
mistake.
expected. Yeah, to be expected. But so here's our new standings. We have a little bit of a shakeup on the board. We have
Hmm.
John, who is now in first place with 72, 50, and 1, followed by SDS, who lost his first place positioning in second place with 71, 51, and 1. You and I are tied for third with 70, 52, and 1. And then
Hmm.
Buff is 69, very nice, 53 and 1. And then
Hmm.
Spite is still 4 and 1 because Buff and I didn't have any Spite picks last week. We played it
No.
a little bit more. This makes sense to win. So that
Hmm.
was kind of how we decided to play it. So, what do you want to start with first for our week 8 recap? Would you want to do the game of the
Okay.
week or the regret?
We'll do game of the week there.
Okay.
Mine. And apologies to you there. I would have to say there the Niners beating the Rams there, and what game Christian McCaffrey had there.
My
He
God.
did something that no other running back did since 2005 there.
Yeah. He it was definitely the CMC show.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna say that that's my regret of the week right now,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll do my game of the week later because I said last week that if the Rams can't pull it together and actually win that one, that was gonna be my regret because I knew better, but everything was making me believe that the Rams had a shot.
Yeah.
They were coming
True.
off the bye week. They were at home. They got to win eventually against the darn 49ers when it's not a playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
So I was hoping, but I was wrong. My
Mm-hmm.
game of the week, just from a sheer this is really fun perspective, was Carolina and Atlanta. We almost had
True.
another tie.
Yeah. That one had so many twists and turns there.
It did, yeah. The Falcons ended up pulling that one out. It wasn't a split game, so either outcome would have been fine for me.
True.
But everyone is getting on the kicker for Carolina for missing the extra point and then missing the field goal in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just like to point out and remind folks that he wouldn't have been put in that position to begin with if it wasn't for a veteran wide receiver acting like a rookie who just scored for his first time and taking his
Exactly.
helmet off.
True.
So,
That cost him 15 yards there on
yep.
the extra point.
Yeah, and kudos to Atlanta for accepting and having the yardage be put there
Mm-hmm.
because that made the extra point no longer a chip shot. I think it was like a
Yeah.
44 yard or something. So,
Exactly.
yes, the kicker should have made that, but he never should have had to. They
Yeah.
easily should have won by one and had this like amazing walk off kind of win.
True.
But DJ Moore did a real rookie move
Uh,
when he's not
Dumb
even a
move.
rookie. Yeah, it was really dumb. You do not take your helmet off. I
Yeah.
don't I don't care how long you've been in the league. That is not something that you should even think about doing.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that was my game of the week, and I already gave my regret. My other regret would have been not taking Seattle when they were at home. I knew better, but I was
Mm-hmm.
overhyped with the Giants.
True.
So what's your regret?
My regret is I'm going to say not trusting the Patriots there. They finally solve the quarterback controversy there. Mac Jones there, fi-
Allegedly, yeah.
final.
I am happy that he was the one who got the start and the win because I was
Hmm.
worried we were going to go down the Bledsoe road, and I didn't want to see that for the kid.
Yeah,
So I'm really happy about that one. I don't really have anything that's a shock of the week for me. The only thing I'll say is the Raiders not putting up any points at all
yeah.
was
I,
a shock of
that
the
was
week.
going to be mine too. There.
Yeah. New Orleans winning, I'm totally on board with that. That makes sense. But to completely shut out the Raiders,
Hmm.
that was a bit of a surprise.
Exactly.
All right. So, with that being done, also, if I'm whistly at all with my S's, I apologize. I think I have a tooth issue that might be
Yeah,
causing some stray hand whistles coming
yeah,
through. So I might be a little bit lispy. I know that some people have brought that up to me, and I apologize for making it completely unwatchable.
yeah.
But
No worries.
there's nothing that I can do about that. It's just,
True.
it's my face. So
Yeah,
deal with it. So if you're ready, we can head on into week 9.
exactly. There. This week I think we have 6 teams on the bye this week.
We do. Let me scroll on down. We have the
Wait.
Broncos, the Cowboys, the
Yeah.
Steelers, San
Hmm.
Francisco,
Hmm.
New York, and the Browns.
Yeah. Exactly.
I was very surprised when I was making up the OBS layout. I was like, "That's a lot of teams that I didn't include. Are we sure?"
Hmm.
I thought I missed a game or two, to be honest.
Yep.
All right. So first up, then, if you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right, we have the Eagles going to Houston in what could be a trap game,
True. True.
but
But I'm predicting a clean sweep with this pick with for everybody there.
I would assume so. I know that I was told anyway that
Hmm.
Troll decided to go the opposite direction.
Oh.
Yeah, he's being very bold.
Yeah. Does does he trust David Mills and the Texans there to try to stop the Eagles there?
I can't speak for Troll explicitly here, but
Hmm.
let me back up. I can't speak for Troll explicitly, but I would think that he's going with the Texans just because the Eagles got to lose eventually.
Hmm.
And plus,
True.
it would be like one of the bigger upsets that we've had this
Yeah.
season, and he just likes to be different. He's an argumentative sort sometimes. So,
Yeah. But with me there, you gotta go with the winning hand there, and go, the undefeated team there is too strong, too strong for the Texans. There, as we saw last week there with Texans there, they lost to the Titans there and the backup QB.
it was the Derrick Henry show,
Yeah, exactly.
and they had no answer for that. And I'm hoping,
No,
from a fantasy perspective, that they won't have an answer for Miles Sanders as well,
true.
because I'm starting him at RB2.
Yeah.
So we shall see
So
how that goes. I'm in agreement
yeah.
with you, and I'm
Hmm.
taking Philadelphia.
Yeah. So we're in total agreement there.
Yeah, 100%. I will say that if the Eagles lose, it's going to be hilarious, and
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready to laugh, and I really hope that it happens. But I personally just don't see it. They're a
No.
really strong team, and they got even stronger taking a player off of the Bears. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We have the Chargers, who are coming off of a bye, and Atlanta,
Ooh. How did Atlanta there manage to scrape by the Panthers there last
because
week there?
DJ Moore was dumb.
Exactly.
They got very very lucky because their defense let them down hard
Hmm.
at the end of the game, and they easily should have lost that 35-34.
Hmm.
But
Exactly there.
alas, they did not.
Yeah. And the Chargers there coming out the rest there. Hopefully, that 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 will give some players that were hurting their the rest they need there to come back there.
Yeah, I really hope so. They needed the rest. They were really banged up. And I think that if you're going to face anybody on the road coming off of a bye, Atlanta's not exactly the worst that you can come back to. And
No.
what's interesting is, historically speaking, between John and myself,
Hmm.
the Chargers and the Falcons have been kind of our bane.
Hmm.
They've always like choked and threw the game away when
True.
they should have had it locked up. And
Yeah.
we always pick them to win, and they always lose, and they always end up costing us something. So
Exactly.
this is quite the matchup, just from that
Yeah.
perspective alone.
Yeah. And with me this week, I think I'm going to go with a little bit of an upset here, and this will put a smile on Dino's face there. I'm going to take the Falcons to beat the Chargers.
He appreciates that. I am in disagreement with the bird again, and I'm
Hmm.
taking the Chargers coming off of the bye. I'm probably using horrible logic because it certainly didn't do me any good
Hmm.
in the last week.
Hmm.
But I'm trusting the team that's fresh off the bye and rested, and
Hmm.
I think that the Chargers are a good team. And honestly, they need to start putting something together, unless they want to finish like third in their division. Because right now,
Hmm.
Denver is definitely last in that division, but
Yeah.
third place is going to be either them or the Raiders more than likely. So
Hmm.
hopefully they can put some stuff together here.
Here's hoping.
Yeah. All right. So next up, we have the Dolphins and the Bears, the
Yeah.
Dumb Bears, who traded away
Yeah.
their stars, well, some of their
Yeah.
power anyway.
True. True. Even though the Bears, I heard, got Claypool from the Steelers
They
there.
did. I keep wanting to call him Chris Claypool, and that's horribly
Hmm.
inaccurate. His name is Chase.
Yeah.
So they have Claypool, but
Hmm.
as Buff and I were talking, because he was trying to kind of soothe me a little bit in my Discord
Hmm.
server after what
Hmm.
Detroit did, which we will talk about that in T minus 2 games.
Okay.
So he was kind of talking me down a little bit and saying, if it
Yeah.
helps, the Bears didn't get any better. And I'm
Uh,
like, you right.
hmm.
I feel a little bit better for that. Um,
Okay.
Not great,
Yeah.
but better.
Yeah. But this one's going to be tough for them taking on Tua there.
Yeah.
It's strong offense.
I would think that with them getting rid of some of their defensive pieces,
Hmm.
when you have an offense like Miami coming in, is kind of silly,
Hmm.
but it's the Bears. So
Yeah. Yeah. According to your hashtag, frick the Bears.
frick the Bears. And I want to
Hmm.
say that this isn't even a spite pick for me. I legitimately just think that they're trash. It's not purely out of spite. They're just not a
Yeah.
good team this year.
True.
And now in years past, it would have 100% been spite, but they're
Hmm.
just not good.
Yeah. And with
I
me,
wouldn't
there
know.
obviously, I think I'm going to go with Dolphins over the Bears.
Yeah, I agree. I hope the best for Tua. I really do.
Hmm.
After what happened and him,
Hmm.
dying on the field. And I think that this kind of bit of a schedule is good for them because
Hmm.
they had Detroit last week and then the Bears this week. So it's kind of two fairly soft teams that you can actually play against that's not going to completely destroy you. So this is a
True.
good way of getting back into the groove of things and getting
Hmm.
reacclimated a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have the Bengals, who are coming off of a fairly tough divisional loss against Cleveland
Hmm.
last week, hosting Carolina.
Yeah. Obviously, the Bengals need a turnaround game. What better opponent to do it against than against the lowly Panthers there?
Yeah, Denver, Detroit, Chicago.
Mm.
I think the Carolina's better than all three of those teams. Maybe
True.
Houston would be a good one to have a rebound against, but
True.
I just hope that DJ Moore keeps his head,
Yeah. Yeah.
literally.
Because yeah. On top of that, the Bengals are without Jamar Chase at wide receiver.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be rough.
Hmm.
That is going
It
to be
cost
very
them
rough.
cost them Monday night against the Browns there, as we saw.
Yeah. So it's going to have to be the Joe Mixon show, apparently. Or,
Apparently, yeah.
what's his
Come
name?
up,
Boyd?
yeah. They got to come up with a new place there to to bo- bo- oh, sorry, my
You're
mind
good.
is a wreck
You're good.
today.
They're going to have to form some kind of a game plan to get
Yeah,
themselves past Carolina,
exactly.
whose defense really isn't all that bad after what they've been doing recently. Like, they demolished Tampa Bay in week
Yeah,
7.
true.
They would have had an amazing walk-off win last week, so
Yeah,
they're not playing horrible football since
yeah,
benching Baker.
yeah.
Or, well, Baker got hurt, but let's just
Mhm,
call it what it is. This is now PJ Walker's team.
exactly.
So,
Well, I still say Cincinnati's going to win there, and I'll take the Bengals to beat the Panthers.
yeah, I can see that. I can agree with that. I was tempted to go for an upset with Carolina just because of how last week ended for them and the fact that Cincinnati doesn't have Chase.
Hmm.
But it's safer to go with the home team on this one, and I think that
Hmm.
Cincinnati is overall still the better team. So I
Exactly.
kind of had to. All right. I guess it's now or never. We
Hmm.
have an NFC North match with Green Bay going to Detroit.
This is the game there. All your fans are waiting to hear your opinion on.
Mm, yeah, I'm gonna try to format this in a nice way, but why don't you go ahead and take it for
Yeah,
the first one?
yeah.
You think he's
Obviously,
smart?
the Packers.
Campbell is a genius.
He's
He's a freaking genius.
he's
He's a genius.
he's a Professor Calamitous genius.
He is. Who
There you
else can give
go.
away their star players and actually try to win a game?
Or tank.
Everybody said they're going to be thinking. I said them all.
Thank you, Father.
There's half of my insight because I'm kind of thinking the same, minus the
Hmm.
genius
Yeah,
line, although that's
yeah.
complete sarcasm and I completely agree.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
you go ahead and give your thoughts first while I try to tamp
What's the
down
problem?
my rage.
Yeah. Obviously, Bills. They made a bit of a close game. I mean, the Packers made a bit of a close game against the Bills there, but was too little, too late for them there.
Yeah, I mean they lost by 10 on that. I will say that their little final flurry at the end of the game was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And I mean I love anytime Rodgers loses, so
Mm.
I'm happy.
Yeah, and some of your friends there.
Yeah, Buff and I have an agreement. Not this week, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but we have an agreement that the Packers losing is always a good thing.
True. So with me there, I think this is the week there Aaron Rodgers turns it around there and finally gets back on the win column. So I'm going to take the Packers to beat the Lions.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Buff went with Detroit because of the spite
That
pick
was
over,
spite.
yeah, out of spite. Ironically, I am also making this game a spite pick of the week, but I am taking Green Bay actually for spite
Ooh.
because what the Lions did recently on the trade deadline, trading away TJ Hawkinson,
Mm-hmm.
one of my favorite offensive players on the team,
Mm-hmm.
to a division rival
Mm-hmm.
because you didn't want to pay him any kind of money after this year and actually make a long-term deal happen like you've been talking about,
Mm-hmm.
um, was very dumb. I
Yeah.
would have traded him if you're going to trade him at all, which I personally wouldn't have. I would have traded Swift because Swift does not want to be here. More than
Yeah.
likely, he will be walking at the end of his contract anyway,
Yeah.
and running
Could have
backs
got a couple of draft picks out of it.
exactly, yeah, running backs have a lot more value than a tight end does.
Mm-hmm.
So trading him off somewhere, maybe like to someone like Buffalo, who could have used a good running back like him, um,
Yeah.
would have netted you a lot more in the way of capital, in my opinion, than Hawkinson, who you traded draft position for, because you gave away a second and a fourth along with Hawkinson to Minnesota to get a second and a fourth. So while it was a good move in some people's view, because you're now stocking up for next year's draft to make some kind of splash and you're saving money and all of this, I think that taking away the production of someone like Hawkinson
Yeah.
away from that offense, when that offense was clicking and churning and not the problem in any regard, because the problem with Detroit's team is the defense. Their defense can't stop anybody. Their offense is perfectly fine and putting up, 20, 30, 40 points a game, right? So clearly they're fine. And now you took away a really big body on that team. And now all of the other receivers and this James Mitchell, who you drafted to be a tight end, is going to have to step up and try to replicate the production value that Hawkinson did for your team, even though he's carried that offense for a couple of weeks when Amon-Ra and Swift were hurt. So I'm very confused and befuddled by the decision, and still kind of peeved a little bit that they did pull the trigger on that rather than getting rid of a player who actually could have netted you anything. I'm taking the Packers out of spite and just pure like big frick you energy.
Yeah.
And I love Detroit. They're still my home team and they always will be, but this is a very questionable decision in my opinion. So
True.
for what it's worth, I hope that they put up mega points.
Yeah.
I hope that they absolutely destroy Green Bay, because that's going to be very fun to see. But also, I kind of, in a way, want them to suffer from not having Hawkinson, just to kind of understand what a mistake that was.
True. True.
So, moving forward to the AFC, who has nothing to do with anything, who probably also could have taken Hawkinson instead of Minnesota. We have the Colts going to the Patriots.
Yeah. Obviously, Colts are in a rebuilding year. They just recently fired their offensive coordinator.
Yeah, that happened on the deadline as well, ironically enough.
Yeah. And obviously, the Patriots, as we discussed in my regret of the week, they're finally got their quarterback controversy finished there, and obviously Mac Jones is the man going forward. With apologies to Bailey Zappi fans.
Yeah, I like Bailey Zappi too. Not as much as I do Heineke, but we'll talk about Heineke in a bit too.
Yeah.
More than likely.
True. So I think we'll probably be in agreement and take the Pats to beat the Colts.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that not having Matt Ryan, who apparently people say is like washed up and on his way out of Indy, which I can understand because he hasn't really produced very well for you. But I think starting this rookie, and then they also traded their backup running back to Buffalo, I believe, Hines. So it's going to be all on Taylor, which he's healthy now, so that should be no problem.
Yeah.
But if he goes down again, then it's kind of like a then what? But I will say that I do kind of hope that the Colts can win, because seeing the Patriots lose is also kind of fun, just because of their dynasty that they have going on. But I am in agreement, and I'm taking the Patriots as well, just because I think that it makes a smarter decision for me. I can't really afford to be that risky right now.
True.
All right, next up, we stay in the AFC and go to the AFC East, where we have the Bills going to the Jets.
This one's going to be a no-brainer. Obviously, the Bills there, that big slaughter of the Aaron Rodgers and Packers there. I don't know what happened with the Jets last week. They're getting slaughtered by Mac Jones and the Patriots there.
Yeah, I will say losing by 5 is actually fairly close. People are calling for Zach Wilson's job, and they would rather see Joe Flacco as the QB. What do you think about that?
Oh, I I don't know. I'm just scared it's going to be end up another controversy like the Patriots if that were to happen.
Mm. Well, I mean, in a way, though, it kind of already is because Joe Flacco won for them fairly well. And then Zach Wilson's also been not doing horribly. So you've kind of got two QBs who can perform well for you.
Hmm.
It's just a matter of if you want to go for youth or
Yeah,
experience.
true. That's exactly. They need to figure it out there.
Yeah. I mean, now Salah has come out and said that they're going to ride with Zach Wilson, which
True.
I understand that.
Yeah,
But it is an interesting debate, I
yeah,
guess. I was just curious where you fell on that. Like, do you go more
yeah,
wisdom or do you go with the youth and see what the kid's got and
yeah,
stick
yeah.
with him and give him the confidence?
Hmm. Go with the hot hand there. I guess there, even though he loses a game or two there.
Mm, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. But I think with them this week, they're going to get slaughtered there by Josh Allen and the Bills. There, that's my pick.
I agree that I am taking the Bills. I'm not gonna go so far as to say it's gonna be complete slaughter. I think that
Hmm.
that dog would agree. I do think that the Jets would have more of a chance than Green Bay did, but I do, of course, agree that Buffalo's going to win this one. But I think it might be a little bit closer than people are giving it any kind of credit for.
Hmm.
So I think it'll be fun.
Yeah,
All right, next up, this one should be interesting for the standings. We have the Vikings going to Washington.
true. Obviously, the Viking. How many predicted the Vikings will be in first place in the NFC North? There,
And
not many.
they're about to be even better. Hi, Dino. This is not
I
your
do know
game. There's
your
no
pick's
birds.
coming up a little later.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that the Vikings have all of the pieces needed to be in first.
Hmm.
And Green Bay just was not helping themselves at all. So,
Yeah,
given everything, I'm not really that surprised that Minnesota is 6-1 and doing so darn well.
true. If it was me, would I would have said the Packers be in first place there
You
around
would
this
think
time.
so, but like they haven't done anything to improve their team any. Like they have this entire
Yeah.
trade deadline and they didn't go out and get a receiver or offensive line help or anything to actually make themselves a better team this year. So I don't know what their problem is, but it's really
Hmm.
fun to see.
Yeah. And obviously, the Commanders, they're coming off a close win against the Colts there.
That was very close. Heineke doing what Heineke do,
Hmm.
and he took them down there and got the go ahead score. Made a
Hmm.
quick little comeback
Hmm.
as he does. He's honestly look, he's probably my favorite QB in the league, and it's really silly to say that, but
Hmm.
I honestly believe that he's my favorite.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
want him. Can we get him,
true.
please? I would love that.
Yeah. But this one's going to be a bit of a revenge game for Kirk Cousins there. And
Yeah,
I'm
I
going to,
did think about that too.
yeah, uh, he wants to show the team he started for with a big regret for letting him go.
Hmm.
So my pick is obviously the Vikings over the Commanders.
I agree. I'm taking Minnesota as well. As much as I like Taylor Heineke, and
Hmm.
believe me, I do, I
Hmm.
can't, in good conscience, go against Minnesota when they're playing as well as they are, and now that they have a new offensive weapon,
Hmm.
pending physical.
Hmm.
Um, I know I'm sad too. Trust me.
Hmm.
I think that they're going to be solid for the years to come at this rate. So have fun with your divisional title and your playoff run because you
Hmm.
guys definitely earned it with that one.
Yeah.
All right, next up, I was tempted to go with a small upset on this one, but
Hmm.
I don't think I did. So we have the Raiders going to Jacksonville.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to the Raiders last week. They pulled a big giant goose egg there
Yeah,
against the Saints.
yeah. Anytime you get shut out, it's really heartbreaking and it's hard to come back from,
Yeah.
especially
Sad,
going on the road to do it. It's
sad,
it's
sad.
unfortunate.
Hmm. Yeah. And obviously, the Jags also coming off a loss there over in England against the Broncos there.
Which that was honestly a surprise as well. I didn't expect Broncos to do yeah,
Mhm.
anything, to be fair,
Yeah.
much less actually come away with a win.
Yeah. That surprised me a little as well.
Hmm.
Yeah. But I think this game, Trevor Lawrence needs to bounce back from there. And what perfect opponent to do it against than the Raiders there. So my pick's going to be the Jags to beat the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I'm taking the Jaguars just because of the fact that they're at home.
Hmm.
Because to be fair, I was leaning more towards the Raiders in this one
Hmm.
because they needed a bounce back game more because you just got shut out. So you got to come out firing and facing a team like the Jags, I think you would have a pretty decent shot of being able to do that.
Hmm.
But I couldn't make myself pull the trigger and Derek Carr and Devontae
Hmm.
Adams and all that. So
Yeah.
I'm trusting the home team again
Hmm.
and going with Jacksonville.
True.
Okay. Now we have the Battle of the Birds.
Hmm.
We have Seattle, who disappeared. We have Seattle. There we go. We have Seattle and Arizona.
Yeah. Obviously, Seattle, they're the are becoming the biggest surprise team of the year. You know
Geno
that.
Smith. Who knew?
Yeah. Everybody thinks since they got rid of Russell Wilson that they would probably go downhill, but that's pretty much the opposite.
Geno Smith is apparently a better chef than Russell
Yeah.
Wilson. Who knew?
True. And their rookie running back there, uh, he's doing really well there.
Yeah, he's the one who took over for Rashad Penny, I believe, when Penny got hurt.
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
picking up the slack fairly well, and
Yeah.
I think they're not winning the division right now, are they? I think
Hmm.
they might be in first place.
Yeah.
John can correct me. I know that he's gonna watch, and he's a Seahawks fan, so y'all can let me know
Mm.
how their standings are shaking out. But I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah. Not obviously Arizona. They're faltering a little bit there.
It's Arizona.
Yeah.
It
True.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Early on in the season, it was said that they had a paper defense,
Hmm.
and I said before that when they paid Kyler Murray all that money, it
Hmm.
was going to be a mistake.
True.
And so far, it's not exactly paying off that great.
True.
So we'll see how that goes. But
True. Yeah. And we're going to make history here. We're going to let Dino make the pick there.
yeah, so let's go ahead then, right now, and we will throw
Hmm.
it over to Dino for his pick on this game. Just to preface it, the way that we decided,
Hmm.
Dino and I, to do this one is
Hmm.
whatever team he destroys,
Hmm.
he chews up. Because you guys will see, I have two sheets of paper. I have the Seahawks written down, and I have the
Hmm.
Cardinals written down, and I put both
Yeah.
of those sheets of paper in the cage. So
Okay.
whatever sheet of paper he decides to step on and chew will be the
Hmm.
team that he says will lose because they are not
Okay.
worthy of being in his presence. So let's
Okay.
go ahead and shoot it over to that video and see what he said. There's two games that I need you to choose between: Seahawks and Cardinals. All right? Now I know you're ready, but I need you to actually move so I can put this in there. Back up. Thank you. Good boy. Ah, da, 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 da. That was my hand. Thank you very much. Back up. I'm not about to get bit today. Thank you. Ready? Ready? Make your pick. Ooh, it looks like he's thinking Cardinals. Read the name, make sure you're positive. Look right to you? Oh, I guess so, huh?
All right.
All right, so there's his pick. He is trusting Arizona at home, which I can completely understand.
Hmm.
It was a little difficult to get him to actually make the pick. He tossed and turned a little bit. He wasn't sure. It was
Hmm.
really hard for him to make a decision, but in the end, he stepped on Seattle and chewed up their name.
Yeah.
And I made sure that he would read the paper after the fact and make sure that he actually knew what he was doing, and he did.
Hmm.
So there's that. Do you agree with Dino, or do you
Well,
take the Hawks on the road?
I'm going to apologize to Dino for this. I'm going to go with Seattle on the road to beat the Cardinals.
Yeah, unfortunately, I also disagree with the bird, and I'm taking Seattle. I
Hmm.
was much like Dino, I was going back and forth, and I wasn't really sure how I wanted to fall on this one because I don't really
Yeah.
trust Seattle's offense on the road, and I don't trust Arizona like at all. So it was more of just weighing those kinds of options, and I decided that it was a safer pick to go with Seattle than Arizona.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but we'll see. Maybe the bird knows best.
Hmm. If Arizona wins, that'll be my regret of the week there, not trusting Dino.
I would tend to agree. Yeah. Well, speaking of trusting things when you shouldn't, we have the Rams going to Tampa.
True. Obviously, the Bucks they're a big, huge mess right now.
They honestly are. They are not good until further notice, as Buff
Yeah.
stated last week.
Yeah. Exactly. I don't know what's wrong with Brady there. I mean, other than the off-field problems with
Yeah,
him.
I mean one could easily say that it's distractions, but I'm not sure. He's usually pretty good at squashing those when it comes to be game time.
And the Rams, they're obviously they came up short against the Niners there, even though they did okay. Matt Stafford.
I am going to go ahead and trust the Rams on the road, just because of I feel bad that they keep losing all the darn time. Every time I go with them, they lose. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna hope that this is not the case. And Tampa's just not doing that well this year. So
True.
they are bad until further notice. The Rams are also kind of bad until further notice, but
Hmm.
the lesser of two evils, I guess. I'm gonna still trust Stafford and go with it,
Yeah, I agree.
even though I shouldn't.
Hmm.
But I
Pretty
believe
much.
that Cup is playing, so that helps a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah. Hopefully that helps.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have Sunday Night Football with King
Hmm.
Henry
Hmm.
and the Titans going to Kansas City.
Yeah. Obviously, the Chiefs they're coming off the bye. That should help them get extra rested to get ready for the week there.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Yeah, and obviously the Titans without Ryan Tannehill, even though they did beat the Texans, but it is Houston there.
Yeah, it's only Houston. Now, was there backup Malik Willis?
Maybe.
I believe I seen on the depth chart that it was Malik Willis. If that's the case,
Hmm.
then they have a really good shot at seeing what the kid has,
Yeah.
because that's why you drafted him. You know, we all knew that Ryan Tannehill wasn't going to be your long-term answer forever. So you
No.
drafted Malik Willis for that purpose. And so
Hmm.
going into Kansas City,
Hmm.
if you can make some kind of miracle happen,
Hmm.
more power to you.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm trusting Kansas City off the bye,
Yeah.
even though I adore Derrick Henry.
And
I,
I'll
I
agree with
can't
you.
I can't say that it's going to be on him 100%.
True. Yeah, and I agree. They're obviously the Chiefs are too powerful of a team with Mahomes there. The hell.
Yeah, they have a decent amount of weapons here. And I just think that overall they're a better team than Tennessee, especially without having their starter, and they're coming off the bye. If they weren't coming off the bye, it might be a different story for me, and I would be more inclined to go with Tennessee for a quote unquote upset.
Hmm.
But because I mean, I think the Chiefs are still a little overrated, to be fair. Just a
Yeah.
little bit. Like they haven't really gotten a whole lot of pieces that I can say is amazing outside of Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
And maybe some other players that I'm completely forgetting, and you guys can correct me down in the comments below. But
Yeah.
until then, it's Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. That's pretty much
Yeah.
it. That's all I got.
Exactly. Juju Smith-Schuster there.
Oh yeah, I
From,
do I do like Juju. I have Juju
mhm,
in my ESPN fantasy league as
mhm,
a usual flex player, but I haven't
mhm,
started him for a few weeks, and I've still been winning. So he's not
mhm.
exactly he's not
Lighting
exactly
it up.
yeah, yeah, he's not exactly been lights out for me as far as fantasy goes. So I
True.
don't know. I'm a little on the fence. I like him as a person, just not
Yeah.
so much as a player right now.
Mhm. True.
All right. So our final game of the week, Monday Night Football, we have Baltimore and New Orleans.
Yeah. Two teams coming off huge wins there. And the Ravens there, I believe they got a wide receiver from the frickin' Bears.
I believe so. Yeah. I know they traded somebody. But I think it was a wide receiver. You might be right.
Yeah.
Because of course the Bears would ship off all of
Mhm.
their weapons. Like
Yeah.
somebody else I know in the same freaking
Hmm.
division. Go figure.
Yeah. And obviously, Saints there. Obviously, they slaughtered the Raiders there, but
Yeah.
that was no brainer.
24 nothing. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Um I am going to regret this pick, I think.
Hmm.
I'm already kind of going into next week thinking, okay, so this has potential to be my regret of the week or my game of the week. I'm not sure yet. It all depends on how
Yeah.
it goes.
True. Yeah. So obviously, I'm going to take the Ravens there to beat the Saints.
I'm not going to say obviously, but
Hmm.
I will agree with you and I'm taking the Ravens. Now, my only reasoning for that
Hmm.
is that New Orleans has a lot of players listed as questionable.
Yeah.
When I was going down the injury list
Hmm.
on ESPN's Gamecast, they
Right.
have so many people who are either questionable or out. And as much as I love the next man up mentality, I can't trust that against the
Hmm.
offensive prowess of Lamar Jackson when he's on the ground. So I think you need to be able to contain him, and I'm not sure if they're going to have the ability to do so with some of the injuries that they have.
Hmm.
So unfortunately, I am going against my brother's team, and I'm
Yeah.
taking the Ravens on this one.
Okay.
And that does it for our week 9 predictions. Let me
Yeah.
put my book away, and then I will get the other.
Yeah. Give the other guys
Yeah.
their say.
Yep. All right. We have first up John's picks. All of their picks are like really big format because they gave me reasons, and so I have to do them one at a time.
Hmm.
So there's John's.
Hmm.
He's agreeing with the Chargers because they're on the bye. He's
Hmm.
agreeing with the Packers with the reasoning of spite. You don't
Hmm.
trade T Hawk and expect me to be okay.
Yeah.
He's in agreement with the Patriots because there's
Hmm.
too many question marks for Indy.
Hmm.
He agrees with the Chiefs because the game rides on Derrick Henry 50-50. And
Hmm.
he is trusting New Orleans at home,
Hmm.
unfortunately. And he
Yeah.
also took the Raiders over the Jags. So I'm hoping that one of us is right. Because
Hmm.
if he gets that one right, then yay. Because that would
Hmm.
kind of confirm that my thinking was right, but I just couldn't pull the trigger.
Yeah.
All right, next up with picks and reasoning, we have SDS, who said if the Texans somehow win, oh my God. So he took the Eagles. He took the Packers with the same reasoning of frick you, the Lions GM.
Hmm.
He took the Commanders for the quote unquote upset and said to
Whoa.
let me know when the Vikings play an actual team.
Yeah.
I could give you a list of teams that they've beaten this year that were actual teams, but okay.
Hmm.
He agreed with the Jags, and then he took the Ravens over New Orleans because they're New Orleans, and he took the Bucks over the Rams because of ride or die,
Hmm.
which that makes sense, but also, eh.
He wants Brady to win.
Yeah. He is a Tampa fan, so anytime you can go with Tampa, he's going to. And I think he said that what better team to beat than the one that's given you trouble over the last 2 years, which makes
Exactly.
sense. But if that logic was true, then the Rams would have won last week, and I would be happy.
Hmm. Yeah.
But I'm not.
Yeah.
And so finally we have Buff. whose picks are very fun. So he went with the Colts. Both
Ooh,
are kind of bad and unpredictable, both of the
yeah.
Patriots and the Colts, which I can understand that. He took the Lions in a real spite pick. Learn the
Uh-oh.
difference. I look, like I said, I hope you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a little mad, and so I'm letting my emotions fuel me right now.
Mm-hmm.
He took the Bills, but in parentheses put Go Jets.
Mm-hmm.
He took the Vikings with Skull. Kirk
Mm-hmm.
Vember has arrived, and y'all thought that Kirktober was scary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For the Bengals and the Raiders picks, he said to see the Colts because both teams are kind of bad and unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
He took the Dolphins because the Bears traded away everything just to stop Miami. Ain't gonna
Mm-hmm.
work. He took the Seahawks because the Cards are also bad and unpredictable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then he took the Rams to spite SDS, and the Bucks are bad until further notice. Still,
Yeah. There you go.
so thank you, Buck or Buff. Wow, Buck.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I missed 911 apparently.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so thank you, Buff, for that wonderful insight as always.
Mm-hmm.
And that is going to do it for week 9. Best of luck to all of you. I hope to
Mm-hmm.
see some shakeups in the standings.
True.
And what do you have to say for the ending here? Any final thoughts?
Not a whole lot there. Just best of luck to everyone, and obviously to everybody watching for the first time. Hit the like and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for all future versus segments between us.
Yeah, we do these episodes every Thursday at noon, depending on how my internet cooperates, which it usually doesn't. But it's actually been pretty good this year. I'm happy. It's been cooperating with me a lot. The computer's cooperating with me, and I can actually edit things properly. So Thursday at noon until Thursday night games are no longer a thing, and then we will be doing them Sunday at 11 or 10 probably.
Yeah. Thank you, Amazon Prime, for scheduling all the Thursday night games.
Yeah, exactly. So we thank you guys so much for watching. Check out the links down below for all of my socials and my membership and my merch if you're interested. There's also the little button thingy that YouTube keeps telling me to tell people about, but I don't want to because it's asking for money and I'm just not that way. But you know,
Yeah.
it do be existent. So thanks again for watching, and we will catch you next week for week 10 of the NFL predictions versus.
Thank you all. See you next week.